Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that could change everything for you. Stop telling everyone what happens in your life. I mean it. Stop broadcasting your dreams. Stop narrating your every step like it's a reality show. Why? Because the more you talk, the less you do. Every time you tell the world your next move, you're releasing the pressure needed to make it happen. See, your energy is a currency. And every time you spill your plans to someone who hasn't earned the right to hear them, you're spending energy on validation, on ego, on noise. You don't need applause for potential. You need execution. Some of you are failing not because you don't have vision, but because you've got a loud mouth and a fragile will. Let me say that again. For the ones who love the sound of their own dreams more than the grind. Dreams don't need witnesses. They need warriors. Stop looking for approval from people who wouldn't even bet a dime on you. You want to build an empire? Keep your blueprint to yourself. Yes, I get it. You want to share, you want to inspire, you want to feel seen. But sometimes the best thing you can do is let your success make the noise. When your vision is real, it doesn't need a cheerleader. It needs a plan. It needs sweat. It needs hunger. So from this moment on, zip it, focus, execute. Only speak when your results are screaming so loud you don't have to. And remember, the ones who say the least often do the most. Silence is not weakness. It's one of the most strategic moves you can make. In a world obsessed with sharing, oversharing, and documenting every moment, staying quiet is an act of rebellion. But more importantly, it's a power move. Because when you're silent, you're unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're in control. People can't sabotage what they don't see coming. They can't block a move they don't know you're making. Think about it. How many times have you shared an idea, a goal, or a plan with someone only to feel deflated after? That's not just coincidence. That's the energy leaving your body. Every time you talk about what you're going to do, you're spending emotional currency that should be invested in doing the thing. Real strategy happens in silence. The greatest power moves in history weren't tweeted or posted on Instagram. They were executed behind closed doors. And when the results showed up, they were undeniable. Talking about your dreams gives you a false sense of accomplishment. It tricks the brain into feeling like progress is being made when nothing has actually moved. Silence forces you to stay hungry. It keeps the pressure on. It builds the tension that fuels execution. That's why champions train in silence. That's why CEOs don't hold press conferences before a major acquisition. The world doesn't need to know until the deal is done. The truth is, when you keep quiet, you protect your vision from outside opinions, criticism, and distractions. You're not silencing yourself out of fear. You're doing it from strength. Silence is your shield. It's your filter. It lets you separate what really matters from what's just noise. So while everyone else is talking, explaining, over-explaining, you're doing, you're building, and you're moving like a ghost through the noise, undetected and unstoppable. There's a hidden cost to talking too much about your goals. It's not just about giving information away, it's about leaking energy. Every word you speak takes energy to form. Every time you describe what you're going to do, how big your dream is, how far you're going to go, your body and brain respond as if part of the work is already done. That's the trick. It feels productive, but it's not. The emotional high you get from saying, I'm going to launch a business or I'm planning to write a book, is a chemical illusion. Dopamine fires, giving you the satisfaction that should come from real achievement, not from the performance of talking about it. Over time, those tiny leaks add up. Instead of fueling your progress, your passion burns out through your mouth. This is why so many people stay stuck in cycles of planning, talking, and dreaming, but never doing. Their energy never gets directed inward. It's always going outward, scattered in conversations, social media posts, group chats, and casual updates that serve no strategic purpose. Think of your energy as steam. When it's focused, it powers locomotives. When it's released into the air in bursts, it just disappears. You don't need a fan club when you're in the building phase. You don't need feedback or opinions before you've created something real. What you need is focus, discipline, and control over your energy. When you keep your mouth shut and your head down, something shifts internally. You begin to create tension, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that builds pressure and momentum. You become less concerned with how it looks and more obsessed with how it feels. That shift is everything, because once you direct that energy inward, you're not just preparing to move, you're preparing to explode. Seeking validation is one of the most deceptive habits people fall into. On the surface, it looks harmless. You share your plans, your ideas, your ambitions, hoping for encouragement, a pat on the back, maybe some admiration. But what you're actually doing is surrendering control of your direction to other people's approval. The moment you start chasing that external validation, you're no longer in charge. You're bending your path to fit someone else's expectations, someone else's opinion of what's right, realistic or worth pursuing. That's dangerous, because the more you rely on others to reinforce your worth, the more fragile your drive becomes. Real confidence doesn't need an audience. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't crave applause. It's quiet, grounded, and internal. When you validate yourself from the inside out, you no longer need to explain your every move. You stop worrying about whether people understand you because you understand yourself. And that's where real momentum begins. Too many people are trapped in the loop of performing for others. They confuse public acknowledgement with progress, likes with purpose, attention with alignment. But none of those things mean anything if you're not moving forward in the direction that matters to you. When you share your dreams with people just to feel better about them, you're not strengthening your belief, you're weakening it. Because every time you depend on an outside reaction, you're training your brain to question itself. You're setting up a dangerous rule. I only move when others approve, and that's the fastest way to stall. You don't need more opinions, you need more action, more quiet time, more inner work. Because the truth is, validation is addicting. Once you start needing it, you forget what it's like to trust yourself. You stop building for the vision and start building for applause. Your vision is your responsibility, and it deserves to be protected with everything you've got. Not everyone is meant to hear it, see it, or be a part of it. In fact, the more you share it casually with people who haven't earned access, the more you risk it becoming diluted, misunderstood, or even attacked. Some people won't get it. Not because it isn't powerful, but because their minds aren't wired to dream at that level. They can't see your mountain because they've never left the valley. And when you expose your vision too early, you give those people room to project their limitations onto you. A vision, especially in its early stages, is fragile. It needs space to grow. It needs your full belief before it can withstand outside noise. If you put it out there too soon, it gets tangled in doubt, fear, and the opinions of people who never built anything themselves. Some will criticize out of jealousy, others out of ignorance. And worse, some will pretend to support you while secretly hoping you don't rise too far above them. That's why protecting your vision is not just smart, it's essential. Keeping your vision sacred doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means choosing your inner circle carefully. It means recognizing the difference between people who pour into your vision and those who poke holes in it. Every time you speak your dream into the wrong environment, you risk it being distorted. And over time, if you're not careful, those distortions can make you question your path. You might start shrinking your ideas to make them more palatable, more understandable, more acceptable. And once you do that, your vision stops being yours. It becomes a compromise. It becomes a watered-down version of the greatness you were meant to build. Results carry a weight that words never will. In a world where everyone is constantly making noise, announcing plans, setting goals, sharing every detail of their hustle, results are rare and powerful. When you stop talking and start producing, people notice. You don't have to convince anyone, you don't have to defend your decisions, and you definitely don't need to prove your worth with empty declarations. Proof silences doubt. Execution shuts down every critic in the room. When the work is done and the outcome speaks for itself, no explanation is necessary. There's a reason why the most impactful people often move in silence. They understand that real confidence isn't loud. It's composed, measured, and strategic. Letting your results talk is the ultimate show of discipline and belief in your mission. It means you're not in it for recognition. You're in it for impact. And when the results start to show, they create a ripple effect. They inspire others, they challenge expectations, and they command respect without demanding attention. Talking about what you're going to do too early often leads to over-promising and under-delivering. When you keep quiet and focus on executing, you reverse that equation. You understate, over-deliver, and completely shift the energy. Instead of trying to gain support through hype, you create undeniable proof that speaks volumes. That kind of energy is magnetic. It attracts the right people and repels the ones who only respond to noise. Silence also gives you the power of surprise. When people don't see you coming, they can't prepare to stop you. They can't create resistance. You become unpredictable, and that unpredictability becomes your advantage. In a culture that rewards visibility, learning to move in stealth gives you the edge. It keeps the pressure on the process, not the performance, and allows your results to do all the talking. The architecture of any meaningful life depends not only on what you build, but also on who you allow to stand near the foundation. The journey towards something significant, whether it's mastery, impact, or inner peace, demands discretion. It is not born from public announcements or casual exposure. It is cultivated in the sacred space of alignment. Most people scatter their attention, their thoughts, and their ambitions across too wide a surface, inviting voices that have neither the insight nor the capacity to hold their truth. The wise understand this. Your inner circle is not just a social network. It is a reflection of your values, your vision, and your standard. Inviting too many people into your process introduces unnecessary friction. Every opinion, even when well-meaning, carries an energy. Some dilute your drive subtly, not through overt criticism, but through small doubts, unconscious projections, or quiet envy. The wrong presence can distort your clarity without ever saying a word. And when clarity wavers, momentum follows. A scattered focus leads to scattered results. Deep wisdom recognizes that intimacy must be earned. The right people don't just affirm your path, they challenge you with discernment, support you with truth, and stand present without needing to understand every detail. They are not spectators, they are stabilizers. They do not feed your ego, they sharpen your character. Most of all, they honor the invisible parts of your growth, not just the outcomes. To curate such a circle is not about exclusion, it is about alignment with integrity. It means understanding the gravity of your own purpose enough to protect it from casual exposure. Silence is not secrecy, it is a strategy to preserve energy, protect purity of intention, and ensure that your internal compass is not overridden by external noise. The fewer voices you allow in, the clearer your own voice becomes.